Now let's do some work through this sort of thoracic and upper body area and through that shoulder complex. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you two particular techniques that we can use with the foam roller that really help us to allow that sternum to push forward and allow the shoulders to sit more in an optimal position. Now for many of us, we can get into what we call a protracted position. So we get into this position where the shoulders are pushing forward, that the chest is drawing in on itself and the back is expanding around here, and this can cause a lot of tension and tightness in through this area and in through the neck. So the first two things I'm going to give you is to be able to allow the sternum to sit forward and to come more into this retracted position with the sternum sitting up. All right, so what I'm going to do for here, I'm going to use this foam roller. This is really good for spinal optimization as well. We're going to lie this down on the ground. Okay, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to sit my body over the top, and I'm going to get my bum right towards the edge on the coccyx of the roller itself, and I'm going to lie myself down onto the roller, and from here I'm just going to separate the feet out a little bit so I'm stable, and then I'm going to just bring my arms up slightly to about 45 degrees just so I can start to open the chest up. And then here, I'm just going to lay down, all right? So I'm going to deep breathe, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just relax the body down so I can really start to feel that open out. Shoulders are pointing up towards the ceiling. Now what you should feel is a gradual flattening of the back against the roller. As the body starts to relax, the hips start to drop down, the shoulders start to drop down, and I just start to feel that, just that gradual relax. So from here, I'm gonna just start to move my thumbs up towards my shoulders just a little bit, just again to get that greater expansion through the chest. Just allow the shoulders to sit down. Same thing again, I'm gonna move up a little bit as I go through this process. Don't move it up too high, just move it to where is applicable for you and where you can actually still allow the body to relax that little bit, and just stay there. So I'm going to stay there anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes, okay, which is going to help everything to sit down and to open up. Then from there, I'm going to take that roller and I'm going to turn it around so it's nice and flat, and I'm going to get that just running along the bottom of my shoulder blade, so I've still got really good support. From there, I'm going to rotate my thumbs out, and I'm going to lean back over the roller and allow my hands just to drop down towards the ground. Which is really going to help my whole thoracic spine to open up, my whole chest, shoulder complex to open up. From here, I'm going to bring the arms around. Really help to open that whole chest area up. Now, that's more of allowing that area to come through the own body weight so gravity can take hold and we can start to open the area up. But I'm going to utilize the ball a little bit here as well. So I'm going to get that foam roller out of the way. I'm going to utilize the ball. Now again here I'm going to come into the sensitive part, the attachment parts. So I'm going to bring that ball into this fleshy part here, just underneath where the armpit is, just below that, so it can start to sit in and around that scap area. I'm going to bend the knees up so I'm comfortable. And then from here, guys, I'm just going to sit with this, and I'm going to move that ball around, in and around that attachment point at the top there, as you can see at the back. And I'm just going to find if there's any sensitivity here. Okay? Now, again, remember, I want some joint movement here to stimulate the neural system. So I'm just going to start by flexing and extending my elbow. And I'll feel that where that's kicking in, I can feel that coming through. I can feel that muscle attachment that's happening here. So I'm just flexing and extending the elbow. And then from here, I'm going to start to rotate the elbow too. Again, looking at the different movements here. just to help to stimulate the neural system so it can start to release off some of the attachments in and around this area. Now, I can play around with this ball, I can move it into different areas. Okay, so I've just moved that back slightly from where it was. Now as it sits down here, I can feel that this attachment is more sensitive here. So I'm just playing with this where I'm flexing and extending this elbow again, dropping that down, and then I'm rotating the elbow in, the forearm, okay, to mimic some of the movements that happen through this area. Now I'm just coming down again, I'm just can feel that right on that attachment point now, where that's particularly sensitive doing this. So I'm just going to make sure that I breathe. And flex and extend that elbow through there as it comes through. Now, by doing this, I'm just letting this relax. I'm letting the attachment points get the feedback through the neural system into the brain that helps to allow it to release. So from here, I'm going to actually take that ball, I'm going to place it a little bit further down, still on the attachment point, but I'm really going to extend my arm straight out here, and I'm just going to reach a little bit further forward. So with my fingers here, I'm just going to reach past the mat and retract it back in. Reach past and retract that back. Reach up with the fingers as far as I can and pull that shoulder blade back down and in. So again, we're just working on all these little attachment points that come in and around the back of the shoulder. And then I'm just going to gently just roll my hand now with pointed fingers. So I'm rolling what we call pronation and supination. So I'm going to roll my fingers so they're pointing up towards the sky, and I'm going to roll my fingers down here. And this is just, again, all these attachment points that operate through this area, just allowing these to release off. Now, guys, I've got to say for you that it might be particularly sensitive doing this. Just do what you can. Build it up. It might be a case that you can only do 10 seconds with both of these, but by all means, start off, do what you can tolerate, and then build it up from there in terms of the release stuff that you're going to be doing there as well. Because as you get deeper into this, you'll find that you'll get more release with it. You'll find that you'll get more optimization through it as well. Now guys, just coming into this shoulder complex, so to add some things here that we can help the shoulders to open up, that were coupled with the ball release work that we've just done, and with that thoracic release with the roller that we've just done as well. So these you can add on to the end of that sequence, are really going to help this shoulder function to open up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you here with this line on the ground, right? So line on the ground, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay both my arms down to one side. And then with my arms, once I'm in a comfortable position here, I'm going to make sure that I'm nice and flat against the ground. All I'm going to do is I'm going to circle my arms up. And I'm going to try and keep my forearms and my elbows on the ground, as I bring and draw those two thumbs in towards one another. Now what you might find is as you get up past about 90 degrees, as you're coming up here, this can be difficult for some guys to actually get their shoulders up to this point because of this protraction that happens a lot through the shoulder. All right, just as you get to that point, just a gentle push through that to try and get these to come a little bit closer together, and then bringing it back down again. Okay, now what I can do is I'll actually come with one side here as well. So you can focus on keeping the elbow and the wrist against the ground and allowing yourself to open the shoulder joint up as you come through there. Now I'm going to work this in the opposite direction by coming down to the ground and allow myself to be able to spread my knees a little bit and sit down into this prayer position, okay, that we call it. So coming and sitting down with this and allowing my shoulders to open up. Then what I'm going to do is once I get down there, I'm just going to edge my fingers away. So I'm going to crawl my fingers away from me. And at the same time, I'm gently pushing down with my shoulder into the ground. Now from here, I'm actually going to push individually with each shoulder, just gently into the ground. And then from there, I'm going to edge that up a little bit further. And now guys, I'm going to pull my shoulder, I'm going to take my hand out a little bit further, and I'm actually going to pull back with my shoulder blades. And then I'm going to reach out again. So I'm actually putting my hands out. Once I get out here, I'm pushing my palm and my shoulder gently into the ground. And I'm going to pull that back in. And that can really start to help you to increase that shoulder protraction. Shoulder retraction. So we're not in that protracted position. We're retracting the shoulders back through the roller, opening up over the top of the roller, through the ball release that we do in order to help the shoulder and the attachment points release. And then some of that mobility movement that's going to allow the shoulders to be able to open up will help that chest and the back sit in a much better and healthier position as we come through. Now additionally to this, what we can add in is once we're down and we've gone through that sequence and we're finding that we can actually reach out that little bit more, we can actually start to add in a rotational movement that allows us to sit down and to open up that little bit more. Round to the opposite side again. So as I come round, I'm really leaning into the shoulder. As I come down, I've got my hands on the ground and I'm really leaning into the shoulder. To offer it a different angle again, to be able to open up and sit there in that much more athletic pose that allows for more optimal function. Okay? Now guys, lastly for this shoulder optimization and through this whole shoulder complex, I'm going to utilize a dowel. Right now, a dowel is very, very useful for getting this whole area working well. All right, so I'm going to grab hold of this dowel. I'm going to get it in a nice wide position. All I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it above the head, and I'm just going to allow my arms to drop back and behind, and I'm going to roll it forward. So behind, forward, behind, forward, behind, and forward. And now what that really does is it just helps to get the shoulder joint working, helps to get it opening up together. And then I'm going to do a movement where I bring it round in a circle and then round in the opposite direction. Round in a circle, round in the opposite direction. Now as you can see, it's quite dynamic. It gets the shoulders really opening up and working well. And I'm just going to flick between these two. Now I often do this last, okay, because it really helps to mobilize the joint, get the synovial fluid working, and optimizing the entire area. Now another thing you utilize is this rolling backwards and forwards with the dowel as well, which really helps just through the forearms, okay? And another one just to add in to the ends, just for optimization again, just bringing the sternum up nice and high, just as if someone's got a handle on the sternum and they're just pulling that sternum up so it sits up nice and high. I'm going to bring the elbows in, and then from here, it's like I'm going to try and snap the stick, okay? So both my wrists are straight, and then from here, I'm just going to twist that down as if I'm trying to snap the dowel. Really gets the shoulders firing, really get the elbow firing in this isometric movement. And then I'm going to bring my hands underneath, and I'm just going to do the same thing as if I'm trying to snap the stick, where I'm turning the force down and in, so the stick, trying to snap the stick that way. So both these two are wonderful movements for getting you working and getting you optimizing through that entire area as well. And a great little tool to have in order to help with that shoulder health and in order to help with that elbow and wrist health as well, which all sits in well into this, what we call this deep arm line that operates through that area. Okay.